if you're back there, if you can stand or you can sit, whatever. I'm so sorry. It's just been that day. Hey, you'll do whatever I tell you to? That's awesome. I like that. All right. Dear Father in heaven, we just thank you so much for bringing us together this evening and for making this opportunity available. Thank you for each one of the people who made it here, and please bless their efforts, bless them, and just open our minds so that we can learn things about you and what you would have us do with our bodies, with our lives, and so that we have the energy to serve you with every fiber of our being. And we pray this in your most holy name, in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. Our devotional this evening, you become what you eat. So, hope is to our soul what energy is to our body. Just like our bodies must have energy to keep going, our souls must have hope to keep going. When our body needs energy, we eat food. But when our souls need hope, what do we feed it? Promises? Why do we feed our soul promises? Because promises have to do with our future. And hope is something we only feel about the future, about 10 minutes from now, or 10 months, or 10,000 years. We're never hopeful about the past. We can be grateful for the past. The past can inspire or even guarantee a hopeful future for us. But all the wonderful changes that have happened to us in the past will not fuel our hope if our future looks bleak. However, if our future is promising, our soul will be hopeful even if our present is miserable, because hope is what keeps the soul going. So we eat the promises of God, which our souls digest and convert to hope. When feeding the body, there is healthy food and there is junk food, right? Both will, in short, run and produce energy, but the healthy food provides the right kind of energy, enhances the operation of the body's complex systems, strengthens its resilience against disease, and increases its durability and longevity. Junk food, on the other hand, has essentially the opposite effect in all these areas and contributes to the breaking down of the body over time. Similarly, there are healthy promises and junk promises. Both will, in the short run, produce hope. But healthy promises provide the right kind of hope and promote health throughout the complexities of the human soul. Junk promises provide ultimately toxic and lead to soul death. Both physical and spiritual nutrition are important, but we always become what we eat. We must take greater care, though, in what we feed our souls and our bodies, because so much more is at stake. The world and the devil are very aware that we feed our souls promises, which is why, like junk food, junk promises are everywhere. They are heavily marketed. Notice every temptation to sin is a promise of some kind of happiness, attractively packaged, tasty, though not truly rich, convenient, and have a particular allure when you're running low on hope, just like the drive-through, right? They deliver a fast buzz of false hope and ruin your appetite for truly healthy promises. But junk promises always disappoint because their buzz is followed by a hope plunge into guilt, shame, and emptiness. They never deliver the happiness they promise because our souls are designed for a far better hope. And yet, junk promises can be addicting because our hope plunge can send us back seeking another fast, false buzz. May we live on healthy food for our bodies and living food for our souls. Okay, so tonight, I think you get the picture. It's eat to live. And the things that we have to talk about, we're going to start where we started last week. We're just going to do a little, oh, gee, look, I have to turn this on. There we go. I was going to like cross out Kelly's name there, just scribble it out. Right? Okay. Okay. So we looked at this the last week, right? And that's the food pyramid. Do you know who developed the food pyramid? Anybody know?
Government.
The government. What part of the government? U.S. Department of Agriculture, right? And, well, gee, would you look what's on the bottom there? Like, all the grains that they're growing, all the wheat, all the corn, all the oats, right? And oh my goodness, what they do to those wheat, corn, and oats, it's a terrible thing. And we'll talk about that a little bit as we go on this evening. But if you are interested in knowing more about the food that you take in, EWG.org is an excellent resource. It stands for Environmental World Group, and their website is an excellent resource. And I said I was gonna do handouts tonight, and I didn't do it. Could you hand these out to everybody, please? I just started getting up for paper, and I feel bad. I'm sorry, Laura.
I'm Kelly.
Okay, so these handouts will be coming around. Hopefully we have enough for everybody. EWG.org is an excellent website, stands for Environmental World Group, and what they do is they are looking into all the pesticides and all the chemicals and all those things that are in your environment, on your food, in your food additives. And every year they come up with a dirty dozen and a clean 15, and that helps us to know what foods we must buy organic by the dirty dozen. If, you know, and it's the things that, like organic berries that we just eat, and grapes, and things, you know, that you eat the skin of, and they spray so much pesticide on those things. So this list of dirty dozen, that you always buy organic. The clean 15, you don't have to worry about that too much. And there's lots of foods on there that they don't get sprayed very much. They are, you know, in being conventionally grown, they're actually quite good. I think Paula needs, do we have any extras? Oh no, I'll get you guys some, I promise. Are there people who can share who didn't? No, okay. I wasn't expecting this many of you. I'm so happy you're here. I will make sure that I get you the papers. So the Clean 15, you can buy those conventionally grown and you don't have to worry about it. They also have food additive lists and so many different things on there, cleaning chemicals and all these things. So that is a wonderful resource for you to use. And hey, look at this. Over 100 antibiotic residues are found in a 8-ounce glass of conventional milk. So that milk that the kids are drinking at school, guess what? Lots of antibiotics in there. And what do antibiotics do? They kill your gut, right? So always have to be aware of our sourcing. Okay, I like this one. The protein sources, right? There's a lot of sick animals out there on farms, and where do you think the fast food chains get their animals? Yeah, so we'll say more about that later. And hey, where's the water on here? We started talking about that last week, right? You have to have water. You are not going to make it without that. So, all right, so in my searching, I found a beautiful, beautiful picture of what a food pyramid should look like. And I was so excited, I think I squealed a little whenever I found this. Look how beautiful that picture is. I mean, can you just eat all of that? Like, can you just see it? You know, just, you know, like, look at all those vegetables on the bottom and how beautiful they are. You have the squash and the greens and peppers and carrots and all the citrus and then the proteins and the healthy fats down here where they are actually going to do you some good. And then the fruits, they're up a little bit because you don't need as many fruits because that's a lot of sugar. And then up even a little higher, well, there's your dairy, and there's your beans and legumes and things like that, and herbs and spices, right? And on the top, the very tippy top, is your grains and your sugars. And that is what our diet should look like. It is absolutely beautiful. And look at that. They even have that little heart with the water. Non-fluoridated. Does anyone know anything about fluoride? No, it is not. Do you know what it does to your body? Do you know what fluoride does to your body? It makes you very docile. So this was actually something that the Nazis gave to the Jews in the concentration camps to keep them very docile. We have fluoridated water, we have fluoride in our toothpaste, and we have it in lots of sources. So it is a halogen. Fluorine is a halogen, and it will actually block iodine absorption in the thyroid. So making sure that you filter your water well and that you don't use fluoridated toothpaste. There's so many good options for such healthy toothpastes and mouthwashes. It's wonderful. So there's my lovely food pyramid. That makes me so happy. Tonight's class can be summed up in 4 words. Does anyone guess what they might be? Eat real organic food. Thank you and good night. That's it. That's all you have to do. Okay, well, we're not exactly done yet, but as you heard last week, I crack myself up all the time. That's just me. All right. So back in the 90s, when I was in college and I was in my computer programming class, does anybody remember the GIGO, garbage in, garbage out? That was the computer programming thing. And I did not do well in that class, in case you're wondering. It is not my thing. But that was pre-internet, if we can imagine that. So garbage in, garbage out is the way it works for your body as well. So sick food going into your body is going to create sickness in your body. So all these fast food restaurants are using conventionally farmed animals. They are full of illness, antibiotics, hormones, bacteria, and trauma. And that's what these animals carry with them when they die and are used in Whoppers and Big Macs and tacos and, okay. For every pound of fast food beef, 5 pounds of chemicals are used to process that beef. So that's what you're getting when you're eating the Arby's, the McDonald's, the Burger King, the Taco Bell. Chicken's not much better, just so you know. That's what you're putting in your body. And then plus the oils, all those hydrogenated oils that they're using to fry everything in are blocking the absorption of nutrients in your body, mainly vitamin D. And so many people are deficient in vitamin D, and that's partly the reason why they are not able to assimilate it. So if you're taking a vitamin D supplement and you're taking 10,000, 50,000 IUs of vitamin D and you're still deficient, you're having an assimilation problem. So you need to start working back from there to find out what your assimilation problem is. So in the handout that I have for you, toxic food ingredients, and then on the flip side of the handout, the first page is life-giving superfoods. So, smile. So the toxic food ingredients, oh, I have one. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna let you go through these. I think maybe a lot of you know what a lot of these things are, but these things are in the ingredient list of so many of the packaged foods, so many of the boxed foods, the cereals, and everything that you find at the grocery store. We always say keep that outer perimeter of the grocery store, right? You know, the produce, the meat, the organic meat, and the organic dairy, and then get out of there. So, and just remember that food pyramid picture that's so beautiful. So, artificial colors, hyperactivity, migraines, oh my goodness, flour, HFCS, destroys your gut, your microbiome, it wipes out your good bacteria. The blue, the pink, the yellow packets, those are actually nerve toxins, neurotoxins, and they're like Agent Orange. You know how our soldiers came back from Vietnam, right? And they were really messed up because of Agent Orange. Those compounds are in those sweeteners. BHT, hydrogenated oils, MSG, sodium nitrate, nitrates, all your bacon, all your lunch meat, you know, always look for uncured. The word uncured is hugely important when you're buying any processed meat. Sulfites, just that preservative, a lot of allergic reactions there. Sodium benzenate. And then number 11. This was just my top 10 until a few weeks ago. And then I learned about number 11. And I'm going to try and do this without choking up. Please look at that link that I have there for you. Cinnamix is something that's derived from a compound called HEK 293. And if you don't know what that is, it is aborted fetal tissue. And Cinnamix, the company, has been using that because it is a taste profile. And it's, they put it into things and they don't have to declare it because it is not a food. So it's been in Pepsi, it's been in, I believe, Fritos, and the Frito-Lay company and their things. And if you go to the stopthecrime.net, they have a pretty comprehensive listing of the companies that have utilized Cinnamix and their HEK 293. We need to know. We need to know what we're putting in our bodies so that we don't put them in our bodies anymore. Yeah.
I'm just going to ask a very dumb question, but I mean, this stuff is all FDA approved.
Right.
Is who we are supposed to be trusting to have this government, you know?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I understand.
Oh, that's not a dumb
concept
question.
Of their reasoning, but I mean,
It's
how
all
in
about the
God's
almighty
name is
dollar.
this stuff approved?
Right, it's the almighty dollar. There's lots of people in lots of people's pockets. Lots of crossover there. Go, look into it. It's,
Oh, no, I mean,
yeah.
it's common sense for me, I mean, because I'm doing my homework as well, but
right,
for us to trust the FDA or the CDC
Oh,
or
yeah.
any of this stuff anymore, it's just, it doesn't exist to me.
right.
And I'm just,
We have to be our own best advocate. Yeah, most definitely. All right, let's flip that page to something a little happier. The superfoods list, and so many great things. And this is not a comprehensive list in any way, shape, or form. Dark leafy greens, organic berries, green tea, EGCG, the main compound in green tea, is actually a zinc ionophore. So it helps you to absorb zinc. So awesome. Pasture-raised eggs from Sheplers or your local farm, wherever you like to go. Those are the best. You get those dark golden yolks, and they're just so beautiful. Nuts and seeds, legumes, kefir, as long as there's no sugar, and yogurt too. Garlic, fermented foods, bone broth, olive oil. Don't heat your olive oil. Use it raw, like we did on the soup tonight. Makes it delicious. Ginger, turmeric, salmon, avocado. I just made the best avocado dish today for lunch, and it was you pull out the avocado and you mix it with a little bit of uncured bacon and shredded romaine lettuce and some salsa, and you throw it back in the skin and you just eat it. And oh, it's just delicious. It's just yummy. Sweet potato, mushrooms. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta show you something. Look at that. Those are the mushrooms I got at the farmer's market on Saturday. And I was just like, I was so excited. This is lion's mane, and these are golden oyster, and these are blue oyster mushrooms. And I made the best cream of mushroom soup ever. It was so good. Okay. I had to skip forward there, sorry. Seaweed is also a superfood. Cacao. Cacao nibs, I don't know if you've ever had them, but oh, they're so delicious. Just the best. Bee pollen is so much fun and it's crunchy. Great for boosting your immune system. Chlorophyll and spirulina, those are very detoxifying. And chlorophyll actually, and chlorella, leach onto heavy metals in the body and help detoxify the body from that. And maca, which is a great energy booster. So, and there's so many more things on there, but you can get multiple ones of these in your diet every single day. It's so easy. So that is a great way to eat. And then hydration. And then the song What's Love Got to Do with It started going through my head. Yes?
These things that I don't recognize, do they come in like capsules? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh no, the foods. Which ones don't you recognize?
Well, the one CACAO powder.
Cacao powder or nibs. So cocoa powder,
Oh, okay.
right? And then
Well, then why didn't it say that?
because we snooty health hut people call it cacao. And the nibs are just crunchy little pieces of the cacao that are just delicious.
Like a chocolate?
Yes, but with no sugar. And then you can, sprinkle it on some Greek yogurt or with some chia seed pudding or whatever. Did I put chia on there? Nope. Oh my gosh, that's a huge one. I told you this wasn't a comprehensive list.
Chia. How do you spell it?
CHIA, like chia.
I know I should know, but I don't.
Oh no, you're fine. You have to ask questions. Were there any others that you wanted to know?
The chlorophyll?
Chlorophyll and spirulina. Chlorophyll, it's in plants, right? It's what makes plants green.
Right.
So it makes our bodies nice and healthy too.
So you go out and eat the grass? I don't know.
Well, that can actually be a supplement. We do have it as a liquid supplement at the store. I think in tablets as well, but it's very detoxifying. It helps the body detox. And maca is a root that can either be like a liquid or a powder that you mix into smoothies or things like that.
And is it a plant?
It is, it's a root. Mm-hmm.
So you can go out in the woods and pick it up if you knew what it was?
If you live in Peru, yes.
That's where it is, huh?
Yeah. Any other questions before I go on? Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. Please stop me. We mean this to be interactive. So, okay, as I was saying, the song What's Love Got to Do with It was going through my head while I was doing so. It's like,
Why it was interrupted by me, right?
Oh no, you're fine. So hopefully that's going through your head now too. You're welcome. Dehydration leads to decreased blood volume, and it puts excess pressure on your heart to deliver oxygen to your extremities. So if you are not hydrated enough, and even 1% dehydration makes all the difference in the world for your organs. Did you get some pictures this evening?
I did.
Okay, thank you. I didn't mean to put you on the spot just here. I'm just doing my squirrel thing. So, what are some signs of dehydration? Persistent bad breath, frequent illness, like are you getting sick all the time? Your immune system can't handle that. Poor skin health, decreased urination, moodiness, headaches, fatigue, constipation. If your bowel's not hydrated, it's not going. Sugar cravings, mental fog, and a slower metabolism. So all of those things. And I think we talked about this last week, but I don't want to turn the slide before. Did you get your, okay. Your hydration equation is your body weight divided in half, And that's how many ounces of water you should have every day. So a 150-pound person needs to be drinking 75 ounces of water every day. I think most of us can say that we probably do not get enough water. And the importance of that is really cannot be understated. It's just absolutely huge.
Does that count water that you take in with your like fruits or soups or whatever else?
Yes,
Somewhat?
as long as it's not caffeinated or has sugar.
Oh.
Because the caffeine actually acts as a diuretic, which pulls moisture out of the system. So the 10 cups of coffee that someone drinks every day doesn't count. But anyone else? Yes. Yep.
Extra steps.
Yep. It's, you're supposed to be, because that's cleansing your body. And it's getting toxins out of your body that need to get out. If you're not peeing enough, you're holding on to toxins. So, and the more you accustom yourself to getting that much fluid intake every day, that will decrease your frequency of urination. Your body will get used to it, and you won't feel like you're running all the time, just half the time. So, okay. Any questions before we move on to kind of part 2? Yes.
At work, we like to say hydrate or dihydrate.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
You said about decreased urination. What about increased urination when you're still not taking enough in? And we also have these little pee things on, at the bathroom that
Mhm.
tell you whether or not you're hydrated enough or not based on the color of your urine.
Right. It should be pretty much clear. Yeah. Absolutely. Unless you've taken some B vitamins recently. So.
Increased urination is something that I'm sure a lot of men.
Oh, yes, because of the prostate issues and everything like that. Yes.
Which I believe is caused by something from unhealthy eating or unhealthy habits.
Yes, because it's inflammation. Prostate issues are generally caused by inflammation, so that you can't fully empty the bladder. We have a phenomenal supplement at Health Hut called Clinical Health Prostate, or Clinical Strength Prostate Health. And it is a compilation of herbs that really is excellent for that. So any gentleman having trouble with that issue, it is an excellent supplement. It's a 3 a day, but even taking 2 a day would be helpful. So, any other questions? That was a great one. Great issue. No? Okay. So now we're going to open up another can of worms, because that's what I do. Gluten, right? There is a genetic component to gluten sensitivity. And remember last week, we talked about epigenetics and how you can change your health outcome by changing what you take into your body and how you treat your body. And that's epigenetics, right? Overcoming your general genetic form. But there is a genetic component to gluten sensitivity. Some people have it, some people don't. My stomach must be like steel. I can eat anything and it does not bother me, but Mr. Diva over here.
I didn't know I was part of this tonight.
Yeah, well.
I would have wore a different shirt.
Gluten, celiac disease is definitely a thing, but there are 6 times more gluten intolerance issues than there are people with celiac. So gluten is immunoresponses and things like that. All of these things, gluten can be a trigger for these and so many more. And if you are in this, does anyone know what NAFLD is? No.
Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
You are a good girl, Lois. That's
What
awesome.
did she say?
Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
There you go.
That and that's becoming more and more of an issue all the time. Doctor says I have fatty liver. I don't know why. I don't really drink very much. Well, that's how you've treated your body. So you need to adjust that and be a little more kind to your body. Does anyone know what H. pylori is? Julie?
Yeah, it gets in your gut, your stomach.
It does. It's a bacteria. And what does it cause?
Well, my husband had it. It was he was nauseous and he couldn't eat. And
Yeah.
we had to put him on like a bland diet. And,
Stomach ulcers.
Yeah, and it can lead to
And
actually
it
stomach cancer.
Can lead to stomach cancer, exactly. Yep. So H. pylori is a big deal too, and that's just a nasty little bug in your gut. We have a really good thing called microbe slayer. It's excellent for that. And Sjogren's. Does anyone know what that is? Sjogren's syndrome. It's usually along with another autoimmune disease. Like any autoimmune disease, you can have Sjogren's, and it's very dry eyes and a very dry mouth. So, the moisture is not there in your body. Pancreatic insufficiency. Does anyone know what that results in? That is decreased digestive enzymes and enzymes produced for the rest of the body, which we desperately need. So, PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, heartburn, UTIs, it runs the gamut here. It's everything. And the reason that it's not that wheat is a terrible thing. What farmers used to grow wheat and eat wheat, those pioneer days, Little House on the Prairie. Any fans of Little House on the Prairie out there? I used to love that show. They ate bread. That was sustenance. And Jesus was the bread of life. He wasn't the gluten-free bread of life. He is the bread of life. So what happened to our wheat? And what happened to our crops? Did I hear something?
It was treated with chemicals and stuff.
Yes. And anyone know specifically what kind of chemicals? So what they do first to the wheat, they genetically modify it. And a GMO, right? Have you heard a lot about GMOs lately and stay away from the GMOs? A genetically modified organism is the seed that they put in the ground. And it's genetically modified to be able to withstand high amounts of pesticides and herbicides. That's how it's genetically modified. And so they plant this genetically modified seed, it grows, they spray it like crazy with glyphosate. Does anyone know what glyphosate is?
Weed killer.
It is weed killer. Anyone know the...
Roundup.
Yes, Roundup. Yep, glyphosate is Roundup. I die a little every time my neighbor sprays his yard. And in the springtime, I'll tell you a secret. I go with my dandelions and I go, yeah, I know. It makes me feel better though. A few little dandelion seeds aren't gonna make him use more or less. It's therapeutic. So glyphosate is then sprayed over and over again on these crops. But then something else that's done is it's sprayed one more time right before that crop is harvested. And the reason they do that is so that it can lay in the field and not mold, because this also acts as a drying agent, a desiccant. So it can lay in the field until they have time to harvest it. It can get put in the silo and they can still get their money, because big ag, like big pharma and all of these, is all about the almighty dollar. So this chemical-laden food is then used for things like Cheerios and all those cereals, the corn flakes and the wheat flakes and the wheat bran. It's Quaker Oats. I'm not supposed to say their name, but I'm going to say their name. It's Quaker. So we think we're doing something good for our families by feeding them wheat and oats and good things, but we're not. So we have to be so aware. On EWG.org, that reference that I gave you earlier today, they did a study on Cheerios. And they took boxes of Cheerios from all over the country and they tested them. And what they consider safe glyphosate contamination is 10 parts per billion. So that is their safe testing level for glyphosate contamination. All over the country, boxes of Cheerios came back at over 2,000 parts per billion. What's one of the first things that we give little babies whenever they, when they're eating, right? It's everywhere. And if you're not cognizant of it, if you don't know, knowledge is power. Now you have the power to make different choices. So that is what's so important about times like these. I think I just went off on a tangent. Yes?
Well, surely, GMOs are in other grains and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
the glyphosate and
Mhm.
so forth. Why does only wheat cause celiacs and gluten issues?
Wheat is, so the gluten, corn and oats are also highly sprayed. I'm not really sure about barley. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, there's lots of glutinous foods, not just wheat. So getting into barley or getting into rye, but you can have buckwheat and you can have millet,
Right.
So,
And
there's-
generally those things are sprayed less as well and not as genetically modified.
so a lot of the, like, things that they use to make beer and stuff that's glutinous, right? So it's gonna affect somebody that has a gluten sensitivity, not just wheat. So it's just knowing which
Mhm.
grains are glutinous and which are not.
So
Thank
there's
you.
a number of things that gluten-free diet
Yes.
has to stay away from.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Not just-
definitely.
Yes.
Right. No, it's not just wheat.
Right.
Absolutely.
I wish.
Yeah. It'll make it a lot easier. So this is a wonderful resource, and it's difficult to see. www.glutenfreesociety.org. And Dr. Peter Osborne is an MD who has become a functional doctor. And I had this white, and then because it was a link, it switched it to blue in front of my blueberries. So I was like, oh no. But if you care to go on his website, he has a gluten sensitivity test. And it's just one of those things that you can, mark off, and they email you your results and how gluten sensitive are you. And this is just a good way to kind of initiate if you're not sure. So, and that's something that is a good resource. So.
Excuse me, could you repeat that?
Oh yes, it's Gluten-Free Society, and that's just all one word, all lowercase, and it's .org, O-R-G. Absolutely, yes.
So shopping in the gluten-free section of the stores is okay or not really?
It is, yes. You just have to remember that gluten-free isn't carb-free. So you can still gain a whole lot of weight on a gluten-free diet if that's what you're going for. And just to be aware of, gluten-free actually sometimes has more carbs than glutinous foods do, but your gluten-free breads and things are going to have generally almond flour, coconut flour, rice flour, amaranth, yeah. So we have we have so many wonderful gluten-free options, gluten-free breads. I always make my Thanksgiving stuffing out of against the grain baguettes, and it makes the most delicious stuffing because they never get mushy. And you know how sometimes the stuffing will get like mushy, and these never do. It stays like nice and crunchy and soaks in all of the yum. So it's, we could be all here all night if we just start talking Thanksgiving, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so what's your action plan? Because this is what we want you to get out of these times that we have together, so that you have an action plan to move forward. Like, think about, what did you learn last week? Did anyone do the lymph massage this week? Or did anyone, awesome. And did you do some breathing techniques this week? I should have started out that way. But to just calm myself down, I think I've been in my sympathetic nervous system all day long. So, but we want you to have an action plan to move forward, because that's the only way that you will get the benefit out of these classes. So what should a typical day of food consumption look like? What does that look like for you? And everyone has to decide what's best for them. You know, it's, some of us need more calories, some of us need less, and some of us need less fast food, and some of us need more veggies. Some of us don't get enough veggies. Sometimes it's hard to get enough veggies. I use my greens powder every day. I lost my greens powder. It's in my house somewhere. I can't find it. I don't know what happened. I used it for a shake and then it's gone. I'll find it in the weirdest place. Do you guys do that? Like, oh my goodness. Okay. So, what does a typical day of food consumption look like? How difficult is it to go gluten-free? Is it really that hard? I would say no, but that's just me. What doesn't have gluten in it? There's so many things, and any protein that you make yourself, veggies, fruits, healthy fats. What else? Julie, help me out there. Miss Guru? No. No, she's just so good. She's our Miss Julie Juicer, and you know, she's so good at being healthy. She's our workout queen. We just love her so much. She's awesome. So, and we just talked about this one. Are gluten-free and low carb the same thing? No. And can you still eat out on a gluten-free diet? Absolutely. Get that hamburger without a bun and put it on a salad. We do that all the time. Lots and lots of things that you can do. Okay, so.
Can I ask you a question on the previous page, not that one, where it said CFS and fibromyalgia?
Yes, chronic fatigue syndrome.
That's what that is?
Yes.
Yes. What do you do about that?
So, yeah, no gluten. Really watch the amount of sugar that you take in, and a whole food diet with good digestive enzymes. That how we started out at the beginning. Eat real organic food. That's a big deal. And we hear a lot that it's too cost prohibitive to eat organic, but if you can find 4 friends and split a cow, then your freezer is stocked for months, and you don't have to buy meat at the store. If you go to a farm and get their chicken rather than, or Aldi's has good organic meat too. So in the event that you can't go with your friends and buy a cow, or that you can't go to a farm and get chicken, Aldi's organic really is a pretty decent quality and not as cost prohibitive. So that's another good way to go. I love Aldi's organic produce. It's wonderful. So lots and lots of different resources that we can use to make it affordable for us. And and sometimes it's just being a little more creative. For anyone who tried the soup this evening, it's called my instant vegetable soup, and it's only called instant because it only takes about 5 minutes to make it. I shred everything that I'm gonna put in it, and if I have something in my fridge that like, oh, I need to use that, throw it in there, as long as it's a vegetable. In this one, there are carrots and summer squash and zucchini and onions and red peppers and Swiss chard. There was beautiful Swiss chard at the farmer's market this weekend. And then the stems of it too. I think there's a couple things in there that I can't remember. And you warm up your chicken bone broth. You throw those veggies in, and then to thicken it a little bit, you throw in some buckwheat groats. And those are delicious and nutty tasting, gluten-free, completely safe, and that's it. And then you drizzle that really good olive oil on top and a little bit of Gruyere cheese, which is one of my favorites because it's just a really potent cheese. If you're dairy-free, there's dairy-free cheese that you can throw on there too. So many things you can do. And that took me, I don't know, 15 minutes total to make it, and it made a huge pot. So,
Dairy-free cheese.
Yes.
What is it?
It's mostly almond-based. Some of it is soy-based, and they use a lot of the natural annatto flavorings, you know, like for color and things like that.
Because those are things you want to watch, right? You want to avoid.
Soy,
Well, I mean, like soy, but like any
Maybe.
artificial.
oh yes, no, the annatto is it's a natural coloring and flavoring. So it's just I don't even know what annatto is, but I know it's a natural. It's not anything that's chemical. And there are some companies that are more soy-based. I tend to stay away from those simply because I'm in that postmenopausal era in my life, so I don't want to mess up. I finally got my hormones where they need to be, so I'm good. I'm not going to mess around with that. But the almond-based is Violife is a great brand of dairy-free cheese. It's delicious and it actually kind of melts, because some dairy-free cheese doesn't really melt. And then you're sad. And then it doesn't really taste that good. But I like the Violife very much, and it's not soy-based. So that's a good one. And the, their cream cheese is delicious. They have dairy-free cream cheese as well. So many different things. Now I just completely lost my train of thought. I was gonna tell you something that was really good at the store. Oh well, it'll come to me.
So how about
chicken?
Almond milk?
Chicken. No.
Almond milk that we
Maltese
use
chicken.
for creamer?
Oh yeah. Oh, the nut pods. Yes. What about chicken?
The nut pines was the last thing. Where you were talking about all these natural.
Oh yes, they have so many wonderful options over there, and it's not as cost prohibitive. So, but lots of things at the store, dairy-free, gluten-free, nice and safe.
And you mentioned almond flour, almond milk.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing a lot of that now. It seems to be a trend.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to be concerned about gluten in almonds or
No.
genetically modified almonds?
No, not really. That's not really so much a thing. And there is no gluten. Almonds are a nice healthy fat. You prefer the organic almonds, but they don't really spray them a lot anyway because they're in that hard shell, and it would just kind of go off anyway. It doesn't get to the meat of the nut. I'll get your question in just a second. The Happy Vegan is a company, this is what I was thinking of, and they make this dip called nacho no cheese, and it is a non-dairy nacho cheese dip, and it is to die for. It is so delicious, and it's incredible. So that's a local Pittsburgh company. We try to deal with people in our local area as much as possible. Did you have a question?
Yes, you're kind of touching on this, and this is a concern that I have lately. It's been increasing more and more, and that is things like almond milk, or anything that you look at the ingredients for, they're
Yes, they are. Mm-hmm.
Vegan, organic. And if you look it up, it's actually made by the FDA, and it starts with a plant or an animal base, and then it's chemically compounded, which
Yes.
is equivalent to a prescription drug.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Do you add
She's
anything to that?
I mean, it's definitely happening, and we try to work with companies who don't do that. Through our distributors, we really try to get the cleanest companies that we can. There probably are some at the store that are showing up on occasion, but it's just, again, it's like with the Seminix, or the Cinemix. It's insidious. And read your labels. Read your labels, read your labels, read your labels. You can make your own almond milk, and you can make your own nut milk at any time. Get your organic almonds and soak them. There are videos on how to do that on YouTube, so you can absolutely do that, and then you're assured of not having any artificial ingredients.
There's actually something you can buy, it's called the almond cow, and it makes the milk for, like,
Oh.
it helps the process.
Oh,
Because it can be a
neat.
little like messy making your
Yeah.
own almond milk, and it takes time. But yeah, you put the almonds in, you put water in, and then you just press the button, and it spins it and makes it.
Oh, that's
It's called
awesome.
The almond cow.
The almond
I mean, it's
cow.
another gadget you have to have, but.
It's a machine.
Yeah, it's about like, it's, this round, about this high, and yeah, you just press a button and it,
That's awesome. And then you're assured that it's nice and clean.
yeah, it's almonds and milk.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for that. That's perfect. All right. Any other questions? So start coming up with your action plan. And so this is what a typical day looks like for me. I generally try to do intermittent fasting. So my breakfast happens around maybe 11 a.m. And that's when I usually do my protein shake. I have a hard time eating breakfast when I get up. I'm just not one of those people. So it's black coffee, it's my Regeneralife, which is a supplement that I'm absolutely in love with because the energy that I've been feeling from that is wonderful, and I really need that. So if you need any information on that, talk to me afterwards. We'll be talking energy later, I think, through the other classes. So that's breakfast. If I am home long enough, I'll do a couple eggs, a couple Shepherd's eggs and some uncured bacon. That's yummy too. So my lunch, I'll either do a salad, I'll take a nice big apple and some celery stalks and do some nut butter on those. And as I said, I'm generally still drinking my shake. So lunch is maybe at 2. And dinner, our choice of clean protein and lots of veggies. So you had the soup. If you didn't get to try it, it's still there. There's plenty of it, so please do. Or if you want seconds, please help yourself. Now, since Kelly couldn't be here this evening, I said, just send me a couple things, right? And she sent me 3 slides worth. And I said, thank you. Yes, because she's wonderful. And yep, there's my mushrooms again. I was so happy about them. If you love mushrooms, anyone here love mushrooms? There is a man in Chippewa, and he has a place called Milton's Mushrooms. He was at the farmer's market on Saturday, and I got a bunch of his cards. I was like, oh, I'm so happy.
He's always at the one in Beaver.
Yes, that's where I saw him on Saturday, and there were a couple weeks that I didn't see him, and I was very sad. So, but his mushrooms are gorgeous and delicious, and they go in anything, just about. So, okay, just an aside. So, Kelly Miller, because she's besides a bag of chips, and she's all that, and I have witnessed her eating an entire bag of chips at the Health Hut. Haha, I outed her. Better chips, but still chips. But she sent us some tips for making healthy eating simpler. So you can certainly read those on your own. And then she gave you some options of what a day looks like for her. And she went into much more detail. See, I have more faith in you. I know you can do this on your own. You have creative juices that are just wonderful. But she also, and it's wonderful. If you think salads are boring, like oh, I don't eat salad again, there's so many different things you can do with it. So Kelly and I actually did one of our Facebook live episodes, and we made 9 different salads in 20 minutes. And then we had like a massive feast after that and had a blast, and we were all so full. But you can go back on the Health Hut Facebook page if you didn't see that, and check out all of our salads that we made. And there's so many more ideas than that. It's just endless. So it's not boring. So I'll let you go through her points on your own. And for this evening, to end, support your local farmers. If we don't have our farmers, we don't have our food. And I think we're aware that, you know, Mr. Gates would like us to be eating plastic food in the near future. So we have to support our farmers and just appreciate them and make sure that we're utilizing what they have for us. Eat real organic food. And just remember, with each choice that you make, you are either going towards dis-ease or health. We are all on a continuum from one end to the other. Here's sick, here's healthy. And you are never standing still. You are always moving back and forth. So with each choice that you make, please, I think that fly landed on me. Please make sure that you are going towards health and not disease. So I am done. So anyone have any other questions or anything?
Do we want to get, if people want the handout, can we email it to them?
Absolutely, and I have one more here, so that I can give someone. But please, if you want the handouts emailed to you, the flip page of our sign-in, leave me your email so that we can get those emailed to you. I can give you this one, Paul. So sure. Any questions at all? Awesome. Okay. Please feel free, take some drinks with you or have some more soup. If you have any desire to talk to me afterwards, I'll be hanging around. And thank you very much. And everyone have a great evening. And we'll see you next week for Diabetes TLC. And that means truth, lies, and care.